Well, good morning all and welcome to yet another Sunday Q&A. Been a bit of a weird one this week because this week I haven't been running at all. This week I have been mostly doing CPC courses because forever I've been thinking about getting a truck, but I'm going to do a little explanation about that on a video because I don't want to drag out the Sunday Q&A. I love this. Bob Keane started the week by going, well done, son. New boy nerves, don't worry, it'll be all right. And finished off the week by going, I love this. He says, I'm struggling a bit here, Pete. He says, it's a bit like when they brought Ray into Minder. You carry on watching it, but you know it's not the same. Rest assured, my friend, Terence will be back on the box next week. It was just a bit of, like I say, I'll explain all about it in a video on its own, so I don't want to drag it out. But, this is what I've been doing this week. So, and then, of course, just do normal videos of me driving around in the van, picking up pallets like a nutter. So thanks very much. Yeah, but thanks for your support. Terry Shuttle, Forsyth, who also teaches, Paul Forsyth, who also thinks, who's going kind of through the same kind of thing as I am. I think he's going through his, transport manager exam. Oh, that's not pretty. But I will get on that another day. Danny Boy also teaches the CPC on the side sometimes. Well done you. Ray Whittam, Gareth Vickers. He says it sounds like jumping through a lot of hoops. Yes, getting to where I want to be is jumping through a lot of hoops. And also Danny Boy, Zoom is the future. That Zoom thing, it's all right there. Yeah, I did it on my phone. At first I was going to do it on the computer, but the computer's old. Then I tried doing it on the iPad, but because you can't plug the headphones in with the iPad charger at the same time, that don't work. And because I've got an Android, I ended up doing the whole thing on my phone. Worked absolutely fine. Chris C, he can't see it doing himself, mate. Fair enough, Mark Fitzpatrick, Smart Bomb, who's joined us now, Smart Bomb 101. He phoned me a couple of times last week and this week. He was a pilot out in the States. He's come back when the aviation. And the amount of people on the CPC, I didn't have it, but they say the amount of pilots that are currently joining our industry, or not necessarily on the courier exchange thing, but on the truck thing. Loads of them are jumping into trucks because there ain't no planes no more. And they said the similarities between driving a truck and driving a plane, walk round checks, fuel balancing, hours, booze, that kind of thing. This is quite similar. So, anyway, Ian Merrick, who else we got? Harry's House, who he reckons is right. Harry's House and Paul Forster, both they reckon money making thing for the government. I would say it's 50-50. Yeah, maybe there's a few quid in it for for the DVLA. But at the same time, I can't say I didn't learn at least 5 things every day, and particularly driving hours. I was like, what? I would have been lost without it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people out there that are doing the third one because they've got to do it. They know driving hours like the back of their hand. They do it every day. It's like teaching them how to suck eggs. But for me, it was like, a lot of it. What else have we got coming down here? Right, so some questions about it. James Rowan, are you going to go for an Arctic or a Rigid? I tell you what I want, mate. I'm thinking of a DAF LF45 double curtain sider with a nice big tail on the back. Should be able, hopefully, to carry around about 3 ton. Ideally, I'm looking for around a 10 grand plus, less than 10 grand plus that. I'd love a Euro 6 because if you can't have a Euro 6, you can't go into the LEZ. It was supposed to be October this year, but it turns out to be, because of the corona thing, it's now going to be February of next year. And the LEZ is like, ULEZ, that big. LEZ, that big. It's not even inside the North Circular. But as soon as you get the junction 2, so it's a bit like. But if I can't get one, if the right one turns up for the right money with a low mileage, right spec, and it's a Euro 4, I'll either pay the money to go in, which is quite a lot. I think it's 100 quid. And it might get it dearer, or I just won't go in. I'll just ship planets up country and come back again. I won't have to deal about fighting London. But these are all things that I'm going to find out. And I'm going to find out whether it's any good or not. And then rather than you guys just sitting there thinking, I was going to get a curtain side 7.5 and I've just seen what's happened to Pete and I'm pleased I've swerved that bullet. Or, actually, Pete's doing right with 7.5 ton. I might jump into one of those and have a go myself. That's what this channel's all about. It's about me making mistakes so you don't have to. So there you go. We'll see how it goes, guys. And it's also about getting me in a truck. So I like driving trucks because they're fun. They're higher up. They've got big steering wheels. And they're easy to drive, believe it or not. You see more of the road, people get out your way. So there we go. Also, truck sat-navs. I'll come on to that another day. I think I found a right bloody sat-nav. Not just for the trucks, but for the vans as well. But I'll do that another day. I've got to test it first. I found it about 4 o'clock this morning when I keep waking up going, right, okay, what am I going to do? Where are we? Yes, I've got this. This looks like this. It started off, I didn't think there was going to be many things to say about this, and then it just went absolutely ballistic. So if I miss you, as always, please re-ask your question or give me a bell. And I'm happy that if I can talk, I gladly will. Jimmy Jones, he says, do 5-ton vans need a tacho? Yes, he's in the Oz. Any van over 3.5 ton needs a tacho. Most vans then jump from 3.5 ton to 7.5 ton. But I know they do exist. They used to be, in the back of the day, we used to drive LT35s, and a mate of ours got an LT40, which meant he could carry 4 ton, and then he had to go through the process of getting it downgraded. So he's saying he was only going to carry 3.5 ton, load and weight. Then he filled the van full of jeans. That's market traders for you. Also, I used to run, when I was back in the day when I was in the markets, I picked up an ex-post office wagon. That was a 5.5 tonne. Anything over 3.5 tonne needs a tacho. Which also leads us to the question from Steve R. Do you need a medical to drive a 7.5 tonne? The thing is, got to find it, right, I don't, and I don't need to do a test either, because I've got grandfather rights. And as Steve Campbell says, that once again, the power of this channel is the fact that you guys know more than me. I'm just a geezer with the big ears, the big nose, and the big mouth passing it all on. Steve Campbell says, if you passed your driving test, I presume UK driving test, before the 1st of January 1997, you don't have to do a test to drive a 7.5 tonne, because that means we've got what you call granddad rights. So if you flip your license over, I forget what it is, it's like C+E or D+E, you can drive a coach, or you can drive a truck or a minibus up to 7.5 tonnes. You don't need a medical, and you don't need to do I think it's an LGV driving test, but you do need to do a CPC, which is what I spent the last week doing. 7 you need to do, 5 modules. Doesn't matter when you complete them, but you'll get your CPC on completion of the 5th module. They take 7 hours each. There's no wavering on that. It's not like, oh, we've covered everything we need to cover, you can go home early, lads. No, 7 hours you're in. And in fairness, they never get through the amount of information they're supposed to get through anyway. But yeah, so if you're before the 1st of January 1997, then you don't need to do any of this. You just need to do the CPC, and then you can jump into 7.5. If you're after the 1st of January 1997, then you've got to do a CPC and a medical and a driving test. And if you're after the 1st of January, what I would recommend, and bear in mind, I don't know what I'm talking about, I would go straight for your Class 2. Because I think you're going to pay all that money to do the driving test and do the medical, and I don't know how much the difference, the price between an LGV test, a 7.5 tonne test, and if you get your Class 2, you can drive any, I believe, once again, probably wrong, a rigid truck of any weight. As long as it doesn't bend in the middle, you can drive it, and you're going to get a lot more money for that. So that's the way I presume go forward. Once again, everybody can tell me what was wrong about that last 5 minutes of conversation. What we got here? Ian Merrick, he's a regular contributor to the channel. I forget what he says, but I'm sure you'll come up later and give it in when we go stream. Yeah. And also, I would say a big up as well to Sergio Transport, who drives an HGV himself. He drives HGV double deckers, but he's also got a Curtin Luton running on the exchange. And he said, if you've got any questions or any problems, he's give me his email address. I'll write that down somewhere, I hope. And he's going to give his number. Yeah, mate, any contributions, anything that is just really helpful, because I mean, a lot of the time I ask these questions, I answer these questions to the best of my ability, and sometimes I just don't know. Sometimes I've got questions myself, and I come on here and go, lads, can you help me out with this one? Somebody always does, and having people out there that are better, wiser, that have been in the game a lot longer, that can put me straight, absolute dream. So thank you very much. One question. Peter Dyer says, he says, thanks very much. Apply for your DVLA tacho, digital tacho card. I have. I sent it off. There's going to be a video coming out about how to apply for your DVLA tacho card. Once again, I'm not going to roll on about this, but I just want to get it all in one place, just in case in the future any of you decide to go for it, and then they're there, bang, 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 bang. You can do it. There'll be about 7 videos, the whole lot, and then we can just leave the whole thing behind. Longfinger says, how many miles per gallon do you get out of 7.5? I don't know, mate. I'm going to find out. I'm hoping after I've gone through all of this, the money that I can charge is, I imagine, I used to run one back in the day, but it was a very inefficient one. And then I jumped in the Sprinter and I went, my God, the money that I've been doing extra in fuel on a weekly basis, I could have bought this van. But honestly, the lorry died. Basically, we had to put that catalytic converter thing on it, and I never changed the filters, and I kept swapping them round rather than getting shot blast or clean blasted, because you could turn them, and the heat of the engine would clean them. But it didn't work very well, and then one day I was going to work and the whole of the radiator just went all over the windscreen. I went, oh, that's the end of that then. But I don't know, I'll find out. I like to say I'm after a relatively modern DAF. We'll see how it goes. If I can get a Euro 6, maybe it won't be so clean. And finally on this subject, as usual, Jason Burke, my hero, is still out there. He's supportive. Again, go for it, Pete. He says, I'm struggling to see if it pays. Will I be changing my name to Pete the Trucker? There are a million people out there doing videos about truck driving. Probably not. I'm now going to be a small fish in a big pond, as opposed to, like, Luton's kind of the top. But you can go without starting to miss out. And then once you get into this, then you can see the size of the vehicles you can drive. I'll see how it goes. Probably still be Pete the Courier driver, mate, I should imagine. So, right, what we got on the miscellaneous today? Godzilla's has turned up. He's done a few videos, comments. He said, if the shipper doesn't give you the paperwork, call them. If they say you've got to use our paperwork and they don't give you it, call them and go, right, you said I've got to use their paperwork. They haven't given me their paperwork. Can you please change the job on the exchange to say doesn't need shipper's paperwork? Then you've got no comebacks. And also, this is magnetic signs are the way forward. So if you go, the sign written van thing, he said you have rucks with people on the forum about this. About some people say it's poaching and some people say it's not. So, but magnetic signs can't come unstuck. Well, they can fly off on the motorway, but they can't come unstuck. JD, mate, you asked a question. I'm not quite sure whether you're talking about buying or selling a Luton, so you maybe want to get back to me on that one. Tiffy Cornwall, if you have a long wheelbase Citroen van, can you quote on a medium wheelbase? Oh, and CPC isn't so boring. No, it wasn't so boring. It was hard. It's just, no, it's relentless. It just went on and on and on, and bits of it, like you might get hit by a fork truck if you're not wearing a safety vest. You don't say. Really? But bits of it were like, particularly the driver's hours, I keep going on about it. Like, even after it was over, I was like, what? Jesus. I'll get the hang of it. I will get the hang of it. Daniel's going to look after me. He's a hero. He's going to be our new, driver manager or whatever it is. I'm going to learn all about this, boys. Yeah, going back to it. Can you quote a long wheelbase Citroen van? If you're a Citroen, can you quote a medium wheelbase? Yes, you can. But what you should do is you should tell them you're in a long wheelbase. You should do this for two reasons. Firstly, it will cover you if you turn up and for some bizarre reason only a medium wheelbase van will fit in the gap, and you've turned up in a long wheelbase and they go, well, we asked you for a medium wheelbase, would you turn up in a long wheelbase? And secondly, you've more chance of getting a job, because from a shipper's point of view, they think if I give that job to a medium wheelbase, you're going to have to quote medium wheelbase money. That's the only thing. You're going to have to quote them what? 75, 80 pence. Whereas in a long wheelbase, you might be able to quote 80, 85, 90, but they're thinking if I'd send a meal wheelbase in and the customer's got it wrong and it doesn't fit, it's going to come back on me. If I sit in a long wheelbase, it's got more chance of fitting. So yes, you can, but tell them you're in a long wheelbase. Better for them, better for you, 99% of the time. Ricky Bryan, how much information do you get from the CX regarding weight, size, etc.? Nowhere near enough. What you'll get is there's a job going from Milton Keynes to Dunstable. We need a Luton with a tail lift. That's it. You won't get it's going into an airport. You won't get it's going into, well, I don't know whether the airport in Milton Keynes or Dunstable is. They'll probably tell you it's Dunstable and be Luton. You won't get that it's alcohol. You won't get that it's a hospital. You won't get that it's Amazon. You'll find all that out when you get there. And the job pings through. You go, I wonder where I'm going. Oh no, I'll go to Amazon. But everything is done, and it's kind of life is like a box of chocolates if someone's thrown away the inlay card, or you can't read the back of them where it tells you what the chocolates are. It's never that bad. And you end up to it, and after a while you start going, oh right, that one there is going from Southall to Leighton Buzzard at 3 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I know what that one is. That's Hermes. I ain't doing that no more. I ain't a postman. You'll get to know it, mate. It's not too bad. Oh, it would be better if they did, but from their point of view, the shippers know that if they give you all the information, firstly, it takes ages to program it in, which they can't really be bothered. And, well, they haven't got time. They want to get the job on and off in the hurry. And secondly, if you put on all the information, a lot of times you won't be able to sell the job. So, but that's what it is. Thoughts on this, guys? You might think I'm wrong about this. You might know better. Please let me know. Darren Chili Watson. Name of an give me the name of an accountant in MK who deals. I've got that written down there, mate. I'm going to pass that one on to Gemma and Al. They're kind of the officey people, and we'll have a look. Well, we'll have a chat, the three of us, and we'll see. Could be the way forward. Apparently, there's a guy in Milton Keynes who does a lot of work for owner drivers. I'm going to check him out. If we use him, and he wants me to, I'll stick him on the channel. Steve Campbell. Both Steve Campbell and Steve Bradley. Steve Bradley says he's picking up north, and Steve Campbell's had a very good week on the CX. Now, I haven't been running on the CX, as you know. I've been sitting in my front room in my bedroom with my telephone, talking to a load of decent geezers about safety rules and what setting do I put my tacho on when I put petrol in it. In the vehicle, but I'm back on Monday. I should have a job booked in for Monday, but by the time I finish the course at 4:30 on a Friday, I just thought, I'm not playing. So I'm going to wake up. I've got to go check the van, make sure tyres are all right, and put some fuel in it, and swap over a pallet truck and get some straps. But then I'll start on Monday morning. Next week back to normal. Old Bob Keane will be pleased to know. Albert Valentine says, "Hello Nick, how you doing, mate?" He said, if you go, I don't quite understand this, but I think it's if you're going to post things first class, you can go, if you rather than put it through the into the post box, you can actually go, if you queue up in the post office and hand the letters over, you can ask them for a receipt. So presumably you can, if you wanted to, hand over one at a time. Can I receipt one? They're not recorded, but you can say, look, I can prove that I posted it. It's that thing again, though, isn't it? You can get all the proof in the world, short of actually turning up to the shipper's office and physically putting the thing in his hand and videoing it on your phone. They can always go, didn't get it. So, but guys, if anyone knows, shed some light on that one, that's always interesting. Callum Warren has just started. He's down in Devon, doing okay. Got himself some multi drops, doing a bit on Shipley as well. He said, Dad warns me about the M25. Are there any roads, junctions to avoid? Well, the lockdown was in place. Basically, the entire country was like a village. I drove into, I can't remember it was at Norfolk Square, Aylesbury Square, something like that in London. I did a video when it's for day one. It was deserted. Absolutely everybody was staying at home. It was 28 days later. Oh, Cillian Murphy there on the bridge. Now it's picking up a bit. Things I would be very wary of. Anything in the ULEZ, mate. But it goes, you're going to be looking at a mile every 10 minutes. So if you quote a job thinking that's only 3 miles, ain't going to take me long. Yes, it is. You could do 3 miles across London. It could take you an hour. If you're unlucky about it, the 25 isn't so bad, but watch out your times. Basically, I would say between 6:30 and about 9 o'clock in the morning, and on the afternoon, I would say from about 3:30 through to about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and earlier on a Friday. But these things do all move, and you can be unlucky anywhere. What I would say to you, mate, if you're down in Devon and you've got yourself a tiny little multi drop and you're doing a bit of Shipley, stay in Devon. If you get a big job coming out, take it. You can always use the CX to get back. But jobs running back, possibly. But no, if you've got yourself something cushy and tidy going on there, mate, I would just stick with it and see where it runs. That's, of course, unless you fancy an explore. Sometimes it's getting fun. As you say, we get paid to tour the country. Nice. And if anybody else thinks that he wants to pass this on, because, like I say, I'm just a clueless, rambling idiot, so we'll pass it on to Callum Warren. Any of you guys out there think, well, actually, Callum, you want to avoid this, you want to avoid that, stick it in the comments. I'll stick it out next Sunday. Tim Jones, he said, how does the CX work? Did the CX get jobs and then they quote the customer, they put it onto you? I should have done a video about this a long time ago. I think I have done the CX and how it actually, what I think the CX is and what it is, what it says it is and what it isn't. But I'll see if I can stick another one out. I don't want to repeat myself, but I'll try and do one explaining sort of like a step-by-step process of how it works, because that would be useful to you guys out there who are not on it and are thinking of coming on it, or just give you, because when I turned up, I actually thought the way it worked is jobs pinged up with a price on them, and you went, I can do that job. And as soon as I got on it, I went, I'm bartering again. I thought I left all this behind when I lost my market days, but it's not so bad. And so that's it. Sunday Q&A. So we're just going to go out with the end title sequence, which is for Bob Keane. Please stick with the channel because I could be so good for you. Yeah, Dennis Walkman can sing either. That's it, boys and girls, of course. Back to normal next week. I've got a few pre-recorded videos. I know I owe some of you guys videos. I'm going to be chucking them out. I'm also going to do a couple more. I'm going to do one on how to get your DigiCard, which is kind of comical actually when you actually realise what you've got to go through. And I'm going to do one on a step-by-step basis of how to get your operator's licence, because there are people out there that are saying, come with us for 200 quid, we'll do everything for you. You don't need none of that. It's not, I mean, it took me about 4 or 5 hours and I've done a couple of schoolboy errors. But if you've got everything, you know, it's a bit like cooking. You've got it all chopped up and ready to go in front of you. Then it really is bang, 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 bang. Stick it in the oven, it comes out, bosh, there's your licence. I hope. I haven't got it yet. In the meantime, Sunday, enjoy it. Back to normal tomorrow, guys. Take care, take money.